Good evening and very warm welcome to all the participants here. I'm Rupa from S. Chand Publishing, and we proudly present to you our today's webinar series, much awaited and anticipated webinar for our dear pre-primary teachers. This is our 5th webinar for you all. I'm sure you're getting a lot of information and a lot of things to be used for your pre-primary, pre-primary kids, toddlers. This webinar would be taken by our expert, Ms. T. Rajeswari, who will be enlightening us about enabling foundational language and literacy development in early childhood. This would be an hour session from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. So be with us because sometimes, the content we need to share, ma'am need to share with you all. So you can just, time may get extended. So before we begin the session, there are certain housekeeping rules for the session so that our session goes smoothly. So I'll share this with you all. So first of all, participants will be muted throughout the session. Please ensure to have a pen and paper to note important information. I'm sure there might be many for you to note down and apply in the classroom. The chat box will be enabled during the question and answer round and disabled for the rest of the session. In case you have any query that comes to your mind while going through the session, please feel free to type into the chat box. We'll take up all your queries, all your concerns during the question answer round. For e-certificates, teachers must fill out a feedback form to receive their e-certificate. After the session, the feedback form will be sent to your registered email ID. Right, audience? So I'm sure these are being repeated for quite a number of times. So now I'll just share with you today's, expert who is with us for last 5, sessions. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the session.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'll just read out about ma'am. So our speaker, Ms. T. Rajeswari, is an early childhood specialist. Currently, she is heading and supporting the early years program, development and execution department for Scolaire Education Services, Hyderabad. She holds a diploma from University of Cambridge International Examination in teaching methodologies and an MBA in education management. She has a postgraduate diploma in early childhood education, post-graduation in HRM, MPhil in commerce, a B.Ed and MA in childcare and education. She is an authorized assessor for Quality Accreditation Audits through the Quality Council of India. So she goes on for a lot of audits and she has shared during the session also her experiences. So this one is associated with NABET. So very warm welcome, ma'am. And now I hand over the mic to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, team. And yeah, just give me 1 minute time to just share my screen. Rupa, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Good evening, audience. How are you all? I hope we are geared up, and even today the session is going to become real exciting. And yes, there will be lots of takeaways from the session. I promise you, you will be glued with lots of penning down lots of notes through the session. I'm very sure about it. Now, before we enter into the session, I just wanted you to quickly find a pen or a pencil and a paper, please. Just quickly pick up your pen, pencil, and a paper. And I wanted you to draw a house. A house. Just quickly draw a house. Draw a house. Tick, tick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. And Rupa, can you show me your house? Okay, right. So is the house similar like this? Yes. So just relate with the house what we are living with. Is the house what we are living with is looking the same? No, right? It means where is the problem? Where is the relation problem? Like how we are trying to make our young learners think. That's what it means. If the teacher, like me, who would have asked a question, now think about the house you are living in, and can you imagine the house you are living in, and can you draw the house where the house which you are staying? So the type of question is very important, and this is how a language can be transacted. This is how we can ensure a meaningful literacy skills in the learner's mind, so that the learners will develop that comprehension, that learners will start enjoying their reading readiness and the writing readiness for them to get inside the primary education for future. Right, teachers? So this is a small, what do you call, ice break. And when we talk about the importance of language, yeah, language and literacy development in early childhood education is a paramount important, as it lays the foundation for a child's overall cognitive, social, and emotional development. And I would like to share a few of the key reasons why language and the literacy development is crucial during these foundational years. The first thing is the communication skill. Yes. Uh, through the language, children can express their needs, feelings, thoughts, enabling them to interact with others. And you could see that they build a positive relations. And yes, language and literacy skills are closely linked with the cognitive development, as children at this age, they learn to speak, read, write. They will use their cognitive abilities, and sometimes they use their memory to address the problem solving, and they try to use critical thinking and enhance enhance their learning abilities in their real-time situation, right? And when you see through the language and literacy development, there is a strong you would see the academic success when the literacy development is stronger, and you would see the children develop their skills of preparing their formal learning environment, and they will excel in their schooling experience if the language and literacy is stronger at this foundation years. And when we try to say that early exposure to the language and literacy prepares the children for reading. Yes, the pre-reading skills such as phonological awareness, which will help the learners to manipulate the sounds, blend the sound, or it will also help them to know how the word can be segmented. And all these skills can be helping them to develop a quick and a fluent reader in the later stage. Yeah, when we talk about the importance of language development in the when we for the child's vocabulary development, yes, this would help them to understand the complex idea and help them to express their own self. And yes, through stories, books, imaginative play, children at this age will start developing that creativity, imagination, and when they are exposed to different words and the cultures, they will develop that creativity, and they will start loving their learning. And yes, literacy skills empower children to articulate their thoughts, their feelings, boosting their self-confidence and self-expression ability. Just imagine, teachers, if the child is allowed to understand the things what is happening around, if the child is allowed to express what he or she is experiencing, rather than making the learners to sit quietly in the class, putting their head down, finger on the lips. Just imagine the condition what we are trying to establish in the class and what is needed for the language development. Yes, and language and literacy development supports the social skills among the young learners, as children communicate and interact with others very freely at this age, and they learn how to take turns, listen to others, cooperate, negotiate, and whatnot. They know how positive they should interact, provided if the opportunity is given by the teacher. Got it. So most of the time, teacher feels like when the child talks, or when the teacher allows the classroom to go along with their own the interaction. If teacher feels that the class would be noisy, no, definitely the learners will explore the language when they are allowed to talk. And yes, through language, children can express their emotions, helping them understand and manage their feelings. When you allow the learners to talk, when you allow the learners to express, they will definitely raise their communication skills, and they will start approaching the teacher or their environment or their surroundings freely and with very confident. And yes, reading and storytelling with the parents, caregivers will create a strong emotional bond, and it fosters a positive parent-child relationship. Because most of the time today, the nuclear family environment is like becoming a very big problem, where children are losing their connect with the parents most of the time, and they are engaged with the gadgets and with something which is isolating them, which is not helping them to be confident to express in the later stage. So and then when we try to talk about the exposure to the diverse stories and the text, this will definitely help the children to gain a broader understanding about the different cultures, and they know how to tolerate that. They know how to show empathy in the among their and they will know how to behave for the given situation. Yes, when we try to talk about the importance of the language. Yes, when we are equipping or stabilizing the literacy skills and the language development, this would definitely help the learners to become the lifelong achievers, because children who develop a love for reading and learning at this stage will be more likely to continue this passion of reading, understanding, interacting, comprehending throughout their life. Yes, overall, we can say that language and the literacy development in early childhood or in the fundamental years would definitely help the learner for the overall growth and success. Yes, the educators, the parents, the caregivers play a crucial role in providing a language-rich environment and supporting the children language and literacy skills during these formative years. Right? And let's try to discuss about why language and literacy development in early childhood. Yes, when we talk about why, it means it lays the fundamentals for the learner's overall growth and success. And parent, caregivers, and educators, yes, again, I reiterate, plays a crucial role in providing the language-rich environment and supporting learners' language, which means they play a very important role for their language development. Yes, let's discuss about the milestones in the language development, which covers the stages of language development and also the typical language milestones between 0 to 5 years. Let's discuss in detail. When we talk about the stages of language development in early years, the babbling is the first stage, which covers from 6 to 12 months, sorry, where babbling is one of the earlier stage of the language development, where babies begin to produce repetitive syllables like baba, mama, and dada. During this stage, the infants experiments with different speech sounds. They imitate the sounds they hear around, and babbling is an essential precursor to the later language development, as it helps the infants practice the motor skills required for their speech. Right. The next stage would be the phrastic stage, which means one word stage. Here you would see around the first birthdays, these toddlers enter into the one word stage where they start using the single word to convey the complex ideas. Any single word may represent, like say for example, milk, which could mean I want milk. Mama, which means I wanted to see mummy. So this is how they will try to communicate with one word. And next is the two-word stage where it covers between 18 to 24 months. And during this stage, toddler begins to combine two words to create simple phrases. Now, these phrases typically follow a basic subject verb or a noun adjective pattern, which for instance, if you can see that the child might say big ball, I want juice, mummy help, dada help. So it means these two word stage makes a significant advancement in the language development as children now have the ability to express more complex ideas with the limited vocabulary. And the next stage is the telegraphic stage where it is between 24 to 30 months. Yes, in the telegraphic stage, you will see the toddlers construct short telegraphic type of sentences constructing three or not more than four words. However, you would see that the non-essential words like articles, prepositions, and sometimes even the connecting words are not used. They use only the simple essential words in this stage where to convey some meaning. Instead of I want cookie, they would say me want cookie. Yeah, me want glass. So they don't know the grammar rules here, right? And you would see between 30 to 36 months, you would see that there's a vocabulary explosions where between 2.5 to 3 years old, the children experience a vocabulary explosions through a rapid acquisition of their observation of sounds and the language that they experience in their outer world. They start comprehending, they use more complex sentence structures, their language becomes more fluent and expressive. They allow them to engage with more, and you would see at this stage between 2 to 3 years, you would see children listen to elders. They would be very keen what we are talking, right? And the next stage, which means from 3 to 5 years, you would see children use more grammatically appropriate, and they will be more sophisticated. They would be using more sophisticated words here. They start using grammar rules consistently, like tenses, plural forms, pronouns, and their sentence would be longer, more complex at this stage. Yes, and you would see there is a meta-linguistic awareness stage which covers above 5 years, which means after that is the child from UKG stepping into the grade 1. Right, they have the ability to think about and analyze the language what they use. Around this stage, you would see children become more aware of the language rules, the word meaning, what is the right word, and what are the words that they should not use. Right, and yes, they would be more conscious about what to speak and what not to speak. Right, these are the different stage level absorption that we as a teachers we need to know right before they enter into the preschooling. What are the different stages they have crossed, and what are the stages they will be going forward? Got it, teachers? Yeah. Now, coming back to the typical language development, that is the language milestones for the ages, because as a pre-primary educators, we need to know these milestones because we need to analyze how a child, what was the child's way, because if the child misses those milestones, it means there was a serious gap in their in the environment where the child has come from. So that is the reason it is very important the teacher noting down the milestones of the learners from between 0 to 5. Now, when we talk about 0 to 6 months, yes, the children would start cooing, which means producing the vowel like sounds like ooh, ah, right? And they will also express by crying using different cries expressions like when they are in need of hunger, discomfort, tiredness, their only expression would be crying. right? And between 6 to 12 months, yes, you would see children start babbling, where they will start experimenting with the consonants, vowels, with the repetitive patterns like the, ba. Likewise, now you would see they will recognize their names when they are being called, and they will start pointing out and waving out the communications through gestures. Like they will show outside. If they wanted to go outside, they will use their hands. They will show fan. So it means they will show some gestures for their requirements at this stage. Yes, and between 12 to 18 months, you would see the child will start using the first word where they recognize like mama, dada, and some objects around like ball or the phone, whatever they frequently see around. They will start connecting those first words, and you would see the children would use simple request where the child will be using like instead of saying I want more, they will say more. They will say up. So it means they will just connect with some very simple words like that. And you will see there will be a gradual vocabulary growth with few familiar words which takes uh, more sugar, more water. So that's how they will gradually improve their words, right? And then from 18 to 24 months, yes, they would definitely come up with the vocabulary spurt, which means they rapidly acquire new words, reaching approximately about 50 to 100 words in this stage. Yes, and the word combination is more concrete here, where they will start using the combination of two words to form a basic phrase like more juice, big dog, there it is, on chair. So likewise, they will start using some simple phrases of sentences, and they will start using simple questions where what is this? What's that? Where mummy? Where box? So such type of simple words. And you would see from 2 to 3 years, you would see there is a vocabulary expansions where they at this stage you would see the children use more than 200 to 1,000 words, and longer sentences are used at this stage. They will also start using the pronouns like I, you, he, she, they. Such type of words will be used by these learners. And between 3 to 4 years, you will see there is a grammar development where they will start using more structured sentence, and then their conversation will be more engaging, and you would see they are ready for the storytelling session, where it means they create simple stories with their imagination skills. And between 4 to 5 years, wow, it's an amazing stage where there is an advanced vocabulary by most of the learners at this stage. They know to use a wide range of words with understanding, and even the abstract concepts, which is not real, which is not seen also, they try to connect those vocabularies. And then they will start, now say for example, when we talk about the abstract, the word, when we talk about the animals which live in the jungle, what do we call it as? Wild. So it means they would say the expressions of dangerous, my God, it is not, it is scary. So though they haven't experienced in real, they will start using such type of words at that stage, and they will start using the complex sentences, like forming longer and the more what do you call structured sentences at this stage. And they will explore the narrative events in a sequential order, whatever it is. Now when you allow your pre-primary students to talk, they don't talk politics, they don't talk about anything which is unwanted. They just talk about their experience, what they have experienced since morning or the before day, the food they like, the experience on the way to the school, or something which they like, which they enjoyed, the way you look in front of them. So all these things they will start enjoying. This experience will definitely improve their vocabulary skills, right? Now, when we talk about the learners beyond 5 years, yes, there will be meta-linguistic awareness here where they will understand and discuss or use the language using the rules. They know how to use the rhyming words. They know how to use the wordplay. And yes, here the reading readiness like auditory discrimination, visual discrimination, audio-visual associations are complete in this stage. Yes, these learners are also ready at this stage. They are ready for the writing skills where they will attempt to write the letters or the simple words, because at this stage, their fine muscle development, eye-to-hand coordination, and then the left to right directionality is stronger through the experiences that are given in their environment. And remember, my dear teachers, the language development is not solely about the number of words that the child knows, but also about the ability to comprehend that the use of the language that they communicate effectively for the given situation. If you notice there is any significant delays or any concerns that the child is facing for the child to express for the given situation, it is essential for the teacher to consult the parent and also suggest the parent to consult the pediatrician or the speech therapist. Because see, after knowing the milestones, it is very important at what stage the child is. Right. So age doesn't matter. See, this is the age-wise milestone, but is the child reaching the age-wise milestone, or which stage the child is? Whether the child is still in the what do you call vocabulary splurt stage, or is the child is just using, in the nursery classes, the child just using one word to express. The teacher is here. The teacher's role is very crucial, and she should observe each and every what do you call performance of the child's participation, their behavior, their attitude towards their expressions and other things, teachers. Thank you. And then when we talk about the role play, that is role of a play in the language development, yes, language play, that is the play is the major element, and let's discuss in detail about the importance of the play. Yes, through play, you would see that the child will develop the meaningful context where they will start communicating. When the child is engaged to pretend, play, or interactive games, they use language to express themselves. They negotiate roles. They create imaginary scenes. This type of interactive use of language definitely enhances their communication skills. And during play, children encounter and use a wide range of words related to the objects. You would see they would come up with actions, and they would start narrating the situations they explode. And you would see this type of exposure to diverse vocabulary, definitely it will enrich the learners to what you call repeat and also use these type of vocabularies into the multiple context. And yes, through play, you would see children practice and redefine their understanding of the grammar and the sentence structure. You would see that they use language to construct sentences. They will start asking questions. They express ideas. They lead to the better syntax. Syntax is nothing but framing the meaningful sentences, and they apply sentence complexity also in the later stage. And yes, through play, when it is encouraged, the children will start engaging themselves in the social interaction, such as sharing, taking turns, and they will start cooperating with each other. And yes, in social play, they negotiate, make requests, and use polite language. They use that what do you call the language which is that is agreeable for the group situation. Yes, and yes, it will also help them in imaginative play, where you will see that the children will use language creatively. They invent characters, they invent stories, characters, and they will try to use the language using the right phrases to come up with the dialogues. They allow them to explore different way of communicating, expressing when it is a character related statements. That's how the play, the advantage of play is. Right. When we talk about the problem solving skills, where play often involves problem solving and critical thinking skills, where children may need to communicate and negotiate when they are given some activities, or be it even when you are asking the children to sit and play with the puzzles. Yes, they will definitely inquire, they will try to search for the sequential order. Definitely they will use little bit of vocabularies in that, and they will try to effectively communicate when they achieve something, right? And you would see that there will be the early what do you call literatures, where through the place based activities like storytelling, puppet shows, imaginative play with books, that it will definitely promote early literacy skills, and children learn to associate language with the printed words, because in the later stage when they go to the primary class, you would see children have to develop that association with the printed words, and they have to enhance with the phonological and awareness and the comprehensions. And through play, you would see children learn about their cultural norms, values, the life skills, the social rules. Yes, they adopt language and patterns and behaviors from the social groups they interact with them. And yes, through play fosters the positive emotional experiences, which reduces language anxiety, and then encourages children to communicate more freely and confidently. Yes, because most of the time you would see learners who are coming from an uneducated background, they hesitate to be with the group, or they hesitate to respond to the posed questions. But if those learners are allowed to participate in the play-based activities, definitely you would see they would develop positive emotions. Yep. And yes, there will be a parent-child bonding during the playtime, and then you would see the play will definitely motivate, and it leads for the higher level of what you call participation in the class, right? And yes, now let's try to discuss about the types of play, where several types of play activities support language and the literacy development in the children. And by incorporating play activities into the daily routines in the pre-primary classes, the parents, caregivers, and the educators can create language rich environment, which really helps the learners to communicate and develop that early literacy skills, because only through play the child will not have the inhibition to come up with their expressions. They will not restrict their emotions. They will definitely come up with lots of rules when they are in the play based environment. Right. Now, let's see the type of plays. And I would really wanted to share some of the type of plays that promotes language and the literacy development. Yes. Now, when we talk about the imaginative or the pretend play, yes, children engage in the role playing and create imaginary scenarios like playhouse, pretending, and sometimes you would see children will be really enjoying they becoming the superheroes in the characters that are there in the story. And you would see that the children will start using the expressive language, they will develop creativity, and they invent some dialogues when they narrate the characters. So that's the beauty of imaginative or pretend play. Now, when we talk about the storytelling or story acting, yes, when you encourage the children to tell story or to retell the familiar story that they already know, right? They will definitely come up with few vocabularies which they are commonly using in their regular life, and that will enhance them to develop their confidence to speak out. And yes, through story acting, it will help them to develop their what do you call their confidence, their engagement towards the class, and they will come up with their expressions more freely. Yeah. And then the activities like reading aloud and shared reading, yes, when it is like role playing, creating imaginary scenes, like now say for example a teacher creating a playhouse and asking them to come up with a situation where like a fox and the crane sitting and having their dinner together. What was the cunningness that the fox was doing, and how was the crane feeling sad? So here, if the teacher is giving such type of situations in the class and allowing the learners to invent some dialogues or to narrate the characters, right, the child will develop what, the confidence in expressions here. And yes, when we try to talk about the word games and the rhymes, yes, the games like Simon Says or I Spy, these are the beautiful games which the teacher can now say. For example, when we talk about Simon Says, instead of it is an opposite that the child need to do some actions. These type of things would definitely help the learners to have that comprehension skill. What is right and what is wrong? What is opposite? What is near? What is far? So all these things would be develop the learners spatial concept skills also. And yes, the nursery rhymes and the rhyming games support the learners phonological awareness, and that helps them to recognize and manipulate sounds. Now say for example in the rhyme related vocabulary, where now if I talk about the word head, now if I remove her sound and replace with br sound, the word becomes bread. Right. And if likewise, if the teacher try to use the vocabularies that and try to do the manipulative activity related to the vocabularies that are there in the rhymes, the child will start developing the speed. They will start relating, they will start associating, they will start liking to develop the reading skills. Right. And yes, you would see children enjoying picture books if provided opportunity, because generally children are given space only with the 4 lines activities, where the child is engaged all quite often with the pencil, a 4 lines or a check note. But to either to write a spelling or to write the statements, other than that, most of the time the pre-primary classes are engaged with nothing. The children are hardly given picture books, or they are allowed to observe the picture comprehensions. So the exposure of picture books, where providing the children with variety of picture illustrated activities and encouraging them to describe the picture, predict what might have happened, or allowing them to discuss about their thoughts about the given situation, and or the teacher can give different objects and start helping the learners to bring in some situation, or by the words or the sentence, that is by the words or the objects that are shown on the that are shown, the teacher can ask the child to create a story. So all these things all these type of activities would definitely help the learners to develop the what do you call, the language skills. And yes, the sensory play is one of the beautiful tasks, where you will see the children through the sensory play would start developing the interest in communicating, because when they start experiencing the different materials using their senses, they will start describing whether the texture is hard, soft, light, heavy, what is the color, and what is the action, whether they have to lift or place or move, scroll. What are the things that they have, whether they have to trace, move up and down. All these things are what the different vocabularies that the child will be using. Even for joining the dots, my dear teachers, the children need to know the vocabulary, where to start. It means the starting from the dot, now tracing, move on the dot, now from left to right. Now let's all trace on the dot. So it means the child need to be given such an exposure of those vocabularies, and allowing the child to chant is very, very important. Now, coming back to the next point, where interactive games and puzzles is also one of the beautiful activity for the language development, where through the board games and puzzles, you will see children waiting for their turn. They will start communicating. Yes, mine is the next turn, and can you please wait? Yeah, I could find this. Yes, this is the right picture. This is the right part. So it means you will see the children will start developing that social language skills, and you would see that there will be a cooperation, collaboration among the team. Yeah, and yes, language through the language play using the technology. Yes, it's very important. The parents, the educators should be observant what type of applications are downloaded and what type of applications are being used by the learners. Yes, there are few educational apps that are very, very good, where you will see the learners what do you call they will develop that language skills for with the type of transaction that app is helping the child to participate in the games that they have, right? And when you see what do you call the dramatic center, which is again a very important element that the teacher can set up in the class, where these type of like setting up the grocery shop, or allowing the learners to pretend play like a doctor office or a restaurant, or providing post office centers, or even replicating the teacher's role in the class, right? So such type of dramatic play centers would definitely help the learners to come up with their role play. They will start developing the conversation skills using the right vocabularies. Got it? And yes, outdoor play and the nature exposure is again a beautiful type of play, where you will see children exploring the different objects, different textures. You would see they will observe, they will relate the vocabularies, that whether it is far, near, light, heavy. They will start describing whether it is beautiful, ugly, dirty, smelling, all these type of things, and what they hear, what they see, they will try to communicate it very effectively. Got it, teachers? Now, when we try to talk about the writing play, yes, encouraging them to scribbling and using the different tools for developing the fine muscle development would definitely help the learners to say that, yes, I am able to, I am moving, I am stopping here. So here, definitely the child will know which color crayon the child was using, which color, which pencil, where the child started, where the child ended. So all these type of, while using those tools, the child will start communicating. Got it? Now, when we try to talk about the strategies for integrating language-rich environment, yes, integrating language-rich activities during the playtime is an effective way to promote language and literacy development in children at this age. And yes, I wanted to share a few of the strategies that will help the language-rich experience during the playtime. Which the first thing is, when the children are engaged in play, they narrate the activities, they describe what they are doing, they use rich and descriptive language to enhance their vocabulary, and they express their understanding using the language. And yes, when you encourage the children to think, express themselves, and ask open-ended questions during the play, for example, when what are you doing, what happens next, what is the character in the story, what was the what did you like in the character? So when you ask such type of questions, what happens? The child will start using the right vocabulary and the related vocabulary, right? And when you encourage children to create and or tell the stories about their play experiences or the toys they use, This helps them to structure their stories with the beginning, middle, and end sounds. And then when you allow the children to integrate storybooks into their play activities, yes, children can act out more productively, and you would see they will pick up their storybooks, the favorite storybooks from the cupboards, and they will start creating a new adventures and the new characters from the storybook. Yes, and yes, when you engage the learners to pretend play about the characters they like from the stories, you would see that the different voices or the character voice modulations will be expressed by most of the learners when they are doing their imaginations. Right now, when we talk about the different equipments that the teacher can use, like puppets, face mask, stuffed toys, right? By using such type of equipments, you will see the children will come up with what fun and non-theatering way of expressions, and you would see the children developing that confidence while expressing their emotions related to the story. And yes, the rhyming games, like incorporating the song while playing. Now, pit, pat, bitter, tit, tat, bitter. So such type of rhyming games would definitely help the learners to develop the pattern making skills. And yes, using toys or materials shaped like letters or definitely will help the learners to what do you call develop that association with the letter, with the objects around, because definitely when they know the letter, abstract letters, they will know the symbols, they will know the sound of it, and they will start relating with the objects around. Yeah, and when we try to talk about the play word games like I say, Simon says, or I spy, these type of or word building activities, these type of activities would definitely help the learners to what do you call, bring in some sort of what do you call connection with their vocabularies that they use regularly, like ask, why, when, this, bottle, bag. So they will start developing the words with the meaning. Yeah, and yes, art and craft activity would definitely help them to describe the colors, the shapes, the objects they use, the type of materials they use, and other things. Yes, when we are engaging the learners with the sensory activities, they will start expressing what is what materials they are using, like water, sand, dough. They use their finger to dab it. They used paintbrush to use the red color. So they will start using. So it means every activity, each and every activity what the child is engaging is essential for the learners to actually, use the vocabulary, and engaging the learners with such type of activities like group play, collaborative projects, outdoor explorations, or cooking or baking activity, or sometimes if you can engage them with exclusively the language rich activities, like now say for example, if you where the learner is like coming up with lots of now connecting the picture with the word, picture that is object with the word, or forming the words. All these things are the language rich play activity that the teacher can engage with. Right now, when we try to talk about creating a language rich environment, yes, we need to know the strategies for promoting language and literacy development in the classroom. We need to also see how effectively we can create a reading corners, and then how a storytelling and reading aloud activities can be defined, and how labeling and print rich displays can happen in the class. Right now, let's try to explore the different elements that are used for the for adopting language and literacy development in the classroom. Yes, when we talk about activity like where promoting language in the class, the schedule that is the teacher can explore age appropriate activities like engaging the children with the books, exposing them with the different what do you call or the teacher can just randomly pick some magazine, read aloud, where the children are experiencing the listening. Sometimes few of the words the teacher can start making the whole class repeat after teacher. So these type of activity would definitely help the class more engaging. Yes, setting up the classroom library is one of the beautiful thing that the teacher can. It is a gift actually, setting up the classroom library, where you would you by keeping diverse collection of the books in the library, you would see that you will create interest, and you would see the different reading levels by each and every child in your class. And yes, if you have the literacy centers, setting up literary centers would definitely help the learners to enhance their reading, writing, language competency. You would see that the children will start developing their association with the meaning for the words that they hear, right? And when you have the interactive writing, it means engaging the students in interactive writing, where you can keep some pictures. You can ask the children to observe the objects that are there in the picture, and you can allow them to actually describe what they have seen, whether it is red. See, slowly you will engage or train the learners to develop the describing skills of any objects that they see, like big ball, long road, blue sky. So these are the interactive writing that they can discuss among themselves, and they can start using different words there. Yes, and yes, the classroom having word walls. It means whatever vocabulary that the teacher is using in the class, right? Be it environmental studies, it means generic science related, or English related, or math related vocabularies, whatever vocabulary for the different concepts that the teacher is using. If the teacher starts keeping the word wall and start connecting those words with the association to the real-time experience, definitely you would see the children will develop the perception skill, right? And then storytelling and story acting is again a wonderful tool, where any concept, any new concepts before introducing, if the teacher is bringing in a story associate. Now, say for example, for the concept same and different, or for the concept far and near, if the teacher is creating a situation and connecting through a story to make the learners understand the meaning of the concept, so the child will definitely associate meaning for the concept and will start using these vocabulary in the real-time situation. Yeah, and yes, journalizing is again one of the beautiful thing, where the child saying or trying to pen down what are the experiences the child has done. Now, say for example, today the child has experienced nature walk, or today the child has experienced activity center, or watching a cartoon movie in the class, right? So now, how did he feel? What was the thing that he liked? What is the thing that he did not like? So all the emotions can be penned down by the child, whether the child is able to draw a happy face or a sad face. So it means how the child is reflecting for the given. So that means the child is using some vocabulary in the mind. Got it? Right. Now, coming back to guided reading, it means where you organize some small group guided reading activity, where you are catering individual reading levels for the targeted instruction. Say, for example, now the teacher know the ability and the interest of the learners by creating small groups and assigning each and every group with some level-wise readers, where you know that these group of learners would find difficult to frame sentences or to read it. So you are giving them only the picture associated book for few of the learners. That is the other level of group learners, where you would give them the level of book where the children are able to bring in some statement. That is, they are able to read some simple statements. So likewise, the teacher can start coming up with the guided reading activities also. right? And yes, phonic and the phonemic awareness activities, which is beautifully connected, where you will help the learners to develop that alliteration skill, articulation skills, to check on their mouth positions. They know the oral blending, oral segmenting activities. They will know how a word can be manipulated. Now, say for example, if for the word box, now remove the word ox and replace with ed. Now, what would be the word? Ed. Now, replace the ed sound with n sound. Now, what would be the word? It will become n sound. So, it means through this type of phonological, phonic activities or the phonemic awareness activity, the child will know how a beginning sound, middle sound, ending sound is being manipulated and how a new word sound is created. Got it, teachers? Now, when we talk about the word work activities, which means lots of hands-on word work activities like building words with letter tiles or sorting the word families, like say, for example, giving the word cards like ag family, and family, at family. So now the child picking up the word and saying, okay, this is the ag family word. This is an ag family word. This is a it family words. So likewise, the child will start reading it out and classifying, grouping, segmenting activities can happen through the such type of thing. So by doing such type of activities, you would see children engaging one, and second thing is you will see children develop using vocabularies meaningfully, and they will start developing the confidence here. Got it? Now, when you set a reading corner and the literacy centers, right? These are the two valuable components for the language-rich classroom, which provides what? Reading, writing, language development in students. Now, both would have, like when we talk about the reading corner, yes, you would see you have to ensure that the children are having the comfortable seating arrangements. Is there any bookshelves there? Reading materials are kept, and reading nook, like you are creating a designated a nook where the children, like a canopy or a curtain, where the child is having a privacy of what. Sometimes the children don't like to share what they read. Sometimes they are very possessive with their favorite books also. So give that space for the children, and you also need to check on their reading area decors, because see, sometimes even we like something which is colorful, which is cozy, which is comfortable for us, right? So it's very important how you are trying to know, and how many books the child was able to read in this particular week, and how many books the child has picked up, how many books the child has enjoyed reading, how many characters the child was able to express. So based on that, the teacher can start giving incentives. Children will definitely get motivated when they are given the reading incentives. Got it, teachers? And then when we try to talk about the literacy corner, yes, the literacy corner can have the writing center, phonics center, listening center, word work center, creative center. We can also make the learners to come up with a book recommendation board, where what is their favorite book, story book, which they wanted to read it again, or which they are recommending for their peers or their classmates or their friends to read it again. You can also set up the dramatic play centers, a research center, where you can make the learners to bring in, okay, now create a new word from the given letters. Let the child bring in some new word, and let the child find out whether it is a meaningful or a nonsense word. So even such type of exposure would definitely make the learners to develop that literacy skill there. And yes, multilingual centers is also very important for the teacher to what do you call, connect the learners with with the language that they are familiar with, and with the language that they have to get associated with. Yeah, and then the poetry center corners is also one of the beautiful where you will see that the children will develop that, what do you call, a rhythm. They will start developing the liking towards the different rhyming words, and they will slowly start developing a cat on a mat, a fat cat on a mat. So that's how they will start, by looking at an object, they will start developing their own poetry or a small poem. That's how you can start creating that likingness towards the language in the later stage, right? And yes, storytelling and reading aloud is again one of the beautiful element, and it is a powerful literacy practice that you can see lots of benefit for all ages, because this plays a crucial role for fostering towards the love for reading and developing that imagination skills, developing that confidence, and then they will start exploring the what do you call the world when the child start knowing what to use and how to use for the given situation, what type of words or sentences to be used for the given situation, so that the child will become confident speaker in the later stage. Yes, when we try to talk about the benefits of the storytelling, yes, you would see the children's that is the learners, that is they will start relating with their tradition. They will start using the language development. You will see that the children will start developing that imagination, that emotions are what do you call are conveyed, and you would see through the story that the child will start developing that cultural awareness. What are the diverse culture that they are experiencing, what are the things that they should not do, and they also know what might happen the next. It means the critical thinking, problem solving skills. If such a situation happens to me in the real time, how I should resolve, right? And through a storytelling session, yes, you would see the children will develop amazing listening skills. Their attention span will be expanded. Through a storytelling session, yes, you would see a child who will be having hardly 1 or 2 minutes attention span will at least expand to at least 8 to 9 minutes, right? Which is the beginning stage for their primary education. And yes, you would see through the storytelling session, there was a personal connection which allows the child to uh, showcase that, yeah, somewhere even I am also associated. Somewhere this is like the child will start developing that inner feeling, yes, I should not do this. The child will start correcting self through a storytelling sessions. Yeah, and the reading aloud practice is again one of the beautiful technique that the teacher can enhance for the language development, where the vocabulary expansions, fluency and pronunciation, phonological awareness, comprehension skill, model reading, bonding and social interactions, literacy appreciations. So here, when the teacher is reading aloud, it makes the learners to what do you call experience the diverse words that can be used in the different contexts. And here, by helping the learners to listen, repeat those words, the teacher is helping the learners to develop the fluency, the pronunciation, and then hearing the words and the sounds in the context with the correct now b add ka add ha add add. So by doing such type of repeated exercises using phonics, the child will develop the phonological awareness also in the later stage, where the manipulation activities can be very easy for the learners, so that child can become the fluent reader in the later stage. And yes, the comprehension skills, because see, when the teacher is trying to converse, when the teacher is trying to interact with the learners, when the teacher is trying to read aloud the statement properly and making the whole class repeat after teacher, this would definitely make the learners, or this would definitely make the learners to gain that confidence of understanding, and also they will start developing that comprehension skill. They will start knowing, associating the meaning behind the statements whatever the teacher is using. Now say for example, by showing a picture of a tree, and the teacher is saying very big plants are called trees. Now what are called trees, children? Very big plants are called trees. So now what happens by looking at the picture, by associating the statement, connecting the statement, and by developing the pronunciation, what happens? The child will develop that what do you call it, the confidence, that relation, and that perception of the picture, and the child will start responding. Now, what are called street children? Yes, very big plants are called trees. So this is how the child will start developing that bonding. There will be a transition, slow transition of independent reading in the later stage, because those statements, if they are being stuck, or if they are being placed in the pin boards, and the teacher keep repeating those words and sentences, and if the teachers start appreciating those literature whenever the child is responding to the post questions, definitely you will see there would be a bonding, there would be a larger transition. The child will start using these words and sentences in the real-time situation also. Got it? Right. And yes, labeling and print-rich displays is something very, very important in the early childhood classrooms, where through labeling, you would see that the young learners develop the practice of involving, they will start developing that perception skill. They will know the frames of the words along with the object, the image of the object and the picture of this thing. Now imagine, now when we say, the moment I read out the word car or CAR, what all comes in your mind? Yes, you will get a shape of the car, the color of the car, the wheels of the car, the brand of the car, your recent journey, or who is driving, and whether it is a petrol or a diesel. So all these things comes in your mind the moment you hear the word car, right? So it means, what was the experience there? Why you were able to know all these things, why your brain is coming up with all these points? It is because of the perception that happened, the introduction at the time of learning the word, and multiple usage and multiple experience in the real-time situation would help the brain to assimilate with these many examples. Got it? So this is how we need to train our classroom situation also. Got it? So here, through labeling, you are helping the learners to develop vocabulary. You're helping your learners to have the word recognition. You are helping the learners to have, like, see, for example, like for the sign, for the direction left, right, and other. Just by looking at the sign only, you would see the children would know, okay, this is left and this is right, this is up and this is down. So such type of simple techniques, if it has been adopted, definitely the child will develop that association, the perception skill, and will be able to apply in the real-time situation very effectively. And yes, print-rich displays, like where you would see that what all concepts that the child is experiencing in the real-time situation, be it concept related math, be it concept related English, or if it is a sight word, or if it is environmental studies related, whatever it is, if it even a story or a rhyme related things, which if it is being displayed properly and the statements are in a printed form, not in the cursives, because during my audit visit, I have seen few of the teachers just they keep writing. See, it is very important how you connect the book text font with the text that is displayed on the soft boards. You need to show the similarity. There cannot be a difference between what is written on the soft board and there is a disconnection with what the child is reading in the book. Got it? The font should match. So it is always better that you take a printed copy, start displaying those words, those sentences, and sometimes even you can start developing the models, and you can start framing sentences, keep it and try to associate, keep reading it aloud so that the child is developing the reading comprehension skills also. Got it, teachers? Now, when we try to talk about supporting dual language learners, it means first and foremost thing is we need to understand the needs of the dual language and the strategies and the roles and the culture in the language development. Yes, when we try to talk Yeah, understanding the needs of the dual language is very, very essential for the early childhood educators like you and me, which will create an inclusive and a supportive learning environment, which meets the unique linguistic culture and also the educational requirements. Today, it is a must and should that we need to support the dual language learning culture, where you would see children who are exposed with the two or more languages. Now, say for example, when we go to North India, where children who got transferred from South India would be definitely knowing Tamil or Malayalam or Kannada along with Hindi, and again there is a campus language. So it means you would see children getting dual language connections. So don't give them the proper what do you call stimulative environment, which is going to help them for their language development, cultural awareness, language proficiency, bilingualism. Yes, it is an asset when we say, because by using this bilingual language, you would see the child's cognitive, social, and academic benefits are really strong here, because the child will start connecting with the local language, whatever concepts the child has learned. And you would see by implementing the cultural responsible teaching, the children will start developing the diverse cultural association. And yes, there is a need for a home school connection, where whatever language at the beginning of the year, the teacher need to know what is the child's mother tongue. And if the child's mother tongue is not the common local language, then definitely the teacher need to get some support or few words that the child can understand. So you need to check with the parent. Now, say for example, a teacher who doesn't know Uriya, and the child is from Orissa, who is settled in might be in Hyderabad. Now, the teacher need to interact with the parent, get few words, like few instructional words, and try to communicate that so that the child will slowly understand what is the teacher's requirement and what is the instruction, so that the child will start developing that association. Yes, support for the home language is very, very important, and language scaffolding. Slowly, the teacher is trying to build in the connection of the campus language by providing the scaffolding. You would see that the teacher using gestures like come and sit here, what are you doing? Now, like the teacher using the dual language with the gesture and slowly controlling the gesture and trying to communicate in English, the campus language, so that the instructional language will become sound at one stage. Right, teachers? And yes, allowing peer interaction would be a beautiful source, so that sometimes you would see the child would come up with their expressions with their native language. And when you are allowing them, you will know which language the child is comfortable to talk. Whether the child is able to even at least smile, you will know when the child is allowed to interact with the peers. Right? Yes, your school can support a dual language program, which is very, very important. And yes, you need to have a language assessment, where using appropriate, like we have done an extensive what do you call activities, that is we have explored few of the techniques for the assessments, and even for the language assessments, the teacher can come up with a tool where whether the child is in the beginning stage, which stage the child is for their language participation. So that assessment has to be done at the beginning of the year, whether the child is comfortable using the complete sentence, or the child is just responding using one or two words. Is the child comfortable in talking in the instructional language or in the mother tongue? What is the reason the child is not able to pronounce the word? Is the child having speech difficulty? All these assessments are very, very important at the early stage. Right, teachers? And yes, if it is language rich environment, nothing like that. Right, teachers? And yes, we can adopt promoting language, we can adopt the different strategies like peer interaction, individualized instructions, homeschooling collaborations, language assessments, these storytelling technique, bilingual language environment, language play, language buddies type of activities, and cultural celebrations, and giving regular feedback. It is all very important for us to make the dual language connection, thereby having an easeful environment in the school where the children will become what do you call active participants. See, here ultimately we need to check whether the learners are the active participant, effective performer, and having a positive behavior. Got it? So by adopting these strategies, you could see the child will start developing that positive behavior and an active participant. Got it, teachers? Now, when we talk about how we can support children with the language delays, yes, it is very important for an early childhood educators to identify the sign language, sign of the delay in the language for the young learners, and what could be the reason. Is the child not able to at least utter one word? What could be the reason? And help the parent to collaborate with the speech language pathologist or any specialist, or initially first try to counsel the parent, make the parent understand what is the problem, how was the child's participation in the class. If possible, you can show some video evidences of the child's participation to the parent for them to understand that there is a language delay, right? And yes, using technology is also one of the effective tool, because see, nowadays technology, that is different applications are coming up with lots of insight where it is engaging so well, and children are picking up speed in their language through few of the digital resources, because be it pronunciation, be it the colorful things. See, why is the child a child 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 is addicted to the mobile? Why the child is wanting for them? Because of the colorfulness. So here the surveillance of what the child is watching and what are the benefit the child is gaining. The frequent assessment is very important, and balancing the screen time is also equally important. And yes, to recap what we have done, yeah, we have done how important language and literacy development at the early years, and we have learned few of the strategies that should be adopted by the teacher for the language and literacy. And we have also seen how to create a language-rich environment, because if the environment is not correct, yes, definitely you would not see language effectiveness in the class. Yeah. Now, ultimately, I would say language is the core, and the language starts right from the birth, and every sound the child listens is associated with the language. And that's the reason you and me, we were fluent in our mother tongue. It means our first language is our mother tongue, and nobody taught us. It means the environment should be stimulated. So we cannot blame the children that they will not understand the instructional language. They will understand the instructional languages, provided if it is being used by the right gesture and adopted with the bilingual language. Right? Thank you so much. And any questions?
Yes. So, dear audience, we request you to post the questions. I see some of the hands were raised during the meeting also. So you can share your thoughts, post your questions. I also have one question, so maybe later on. So first, let's take up the questions. Yes. Thank you for your praises from ma'am. Of course, it was a wonderful session. Surely you would like to visit again and make some pointers, utilize in your classrooms. I'm sure you would, like to create some corners after going through this meeting, and also use this labeling thing that ma'am has shared. So many takeaways, I think. So you can always share whatever questions you have regarding language. So tomorrow there will be another session for related to numeracy. So today you can ask any question related to language development in, I think there are some questions posed.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Yeah. Sometimes according to the school scenario, we have to go with the English but tiny toddlers are comfortable in Hindi. What we can do from, yeah, that's what using the bilingual language is something very important. It means slowly scaffolding them to the campus language is very important. Initially, trying to talk in the local language or the language which most of your learners are comfortable with, and slowly instructional language can be treated using the gesture. And like say, for example, open the book, pick up your box, pencil box. Come on, pick your that is take page number. So it means you are trying to give small instructions which the child is trying to understand with your gesture. Now, say for example, stop talking. Don't go out. So these are the simple languages that you start, and slowly you are trying to connect these language into the concept transaction, and then try to pose those concept transaction in the form of an questions. And when you when you use inquiry based approach, the child will start relating those statements to respond to the post question. So that's how you can slowly scaffold the learners to the instructional language.
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for your inputs. Other question is, making pointers for reading is good or not? I think.
Listen, point, and repeat is a wonderful method so that the child will know what he or she is reading. Right. So that pointing method is a wonderful method. So the child will start relating. So the brain stimulates still in a structured way, and the child will develop more confident.
Right, I'm just looking for more questions. There are all praises for your session, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, how to make the child overcome stammering and difficulty in speaking?
The stammering, it is like sometimes it is like biological in nature, or allowing the child to be confident. Why does the child stammer? It means might be there will be some speech problem, inherent speech problem, or the child has a fear of talking the instructional language, that is the campus language. You need to check whether the child is stammering even using their mother tongue. So you need to check with the parents whether the child is having the same problem with the mother tongue also. So then
that's a very good idea, ma'am. I mean, that's a good input. I'm sure you'll be able to get some idea.
Yeah. Right.
So,
and yeah.
Other one is if a child is from grade 1. So we are talking about foundational stage. So yes, grade 1, there is a question. How would we make him understand about parts of speech?
See, that is again the grammar rule. See, for a grade 1 child, parts of speech is like something which is now first make the learner to understand, know the self, and then make the learner to connect with the naming words, describing words, and slowly scaffold and try to do not go with how to say, do not make the learner to have that complication of the grammar rules at the beginning. They are still, a grade 1 child is still in the foundational year. So let them enjoy the functional English. Let the child develop that, confident in talking, and then slowly you can connect them in the later stage. So don't go to the higher level at this age. So that's my advice.
Totally agree with you, ma'am. It's all about, enjoying language.
That's true. The child need to have that confidence once, that the child will develop confidence once the child enjoys the language. The moment you say, this is the grammar application that you have to use to convey this message, the child will stop at least to open the mouth.
Yeah.
So that's the reason you will see always a passive learner in the class.
Yeah. So if you force on doing anything, be it even writing, they will switch off. I've seen that. So I have a question.
Yes,
so audience, before that, you can post the queries. So sorry, I also wanted to ask a question because I'm a mother of a toddler, 5 years old. And I have a question that what kind of stimuli should a parent use to understand what has been done in the school from the child? I mean, what all things they do in the school, at least some hint to a parent.
Yeah. So, I understand you are a very curious parent to know what is happening in the school. One thing is, coming up with one simple question. What did you like today? What did you enjoy? Did you like the snack which I packed in your tiffin box? Now, did you share with your friend? Now, what was your friend's what did your friend box was, and what is the color of the pencil that your friend bought today, and what made you to smile, and what was the color of the sari your teacher was wearing today? So slowly you can start interacting. And what was one thing that was scary? Now, how many times did you use your restroom? So asking the child, which is very simple, the normal going, and then slowly start asking them, okay, did you use your crayon box today? Now, okay, for what? Did your teacher made you to color? Now, what was the picture? Can you name the picture that you were asked to color? So slowly the child will start using the vocabulary of, yeah, I try to color the picture of the butterfly. So that's how. So the more
going into
you
the
ask simple
detailing,
questions,
going into the details of what has been done
done.
and then taking it forward.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you so
simple
much.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure some of you also might be having such kind of questions as mothers or as teachers. So I don't see any of the questions here. So dear audience, all the certificates will be sent to your registered email ID once you have submitted the feedback form. You will receive the feedback form link once this session is over. Okay. After the session is over, we immediately send the this link for feedback form. So please fill up those feedback and be with us tomorrow for the session, which is on numeracy. I'll just give you the details in a while, just a minute.
Can you give any tip to identify letters? See, maintaining a print-rich environment, it means whatever letters are introduced, when it is being chanted with the sound, even the directionality of the letters, like start from the dot, take a curve, move up and calm down, and making the learner to repeat the chant, and those letter formation is being placed and allowing the learner to continuously observe that. So those type of the exercises would definitely help the learner to stimulate in identifications. So that's the question we missed, Rupa.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your inputs. So all the audience, please note, tomorrow we are going to have quiz after the session. And the session for tomorrow is again at the same time, 4 to 5 p.m. And it might go beyond. So I'm sure you'll be having a lot of takeaways again. So please have patience and be with us tomorrow. The session for tomorrow is make your students competent in foundational literacy, numeracy. So today we have done literacy. Tomorrow it will be on numeracy. There are these two very important aspects which, you know, are very much highlighted in all of NCF for foundational stage. So please be with us tomorrow and get ready for the quiz. You may go back and watch the recording that are available on our YouTube channel. You can just type CPD corner for S-Chan CPD corner. You will be able to get all the 5 sessions, including today's, and you can just make note of it and have good participation in quiz. And we'll be announcing some nice prizes and all. You are receiving already the messages. So with this, I thank you, ma'am, from S-Chan Publishing.
Thank you, Rupa.
Such a
Thank
wonderful
you,
session. All
Thank
the
you
praises
so
for you, and we have seen in the chat box, we have received a lot of praises.
Thank
and
you.
surely a lot of takeaways. Thank you, ma'am. See you
Thank you,
tomorrow
Thank
at
you
the
so
same
much.
time.
Thank you, team. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
God
team.
bless.